All right, and Dr. Belding, if you could go ahead and do our Texas pledge. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm that guy. All right, here we go. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, and now we're any of our guests. Like I said, John Smyers is a Rotarian at Lakeside. Which one is it, John?
It's Denton Lake Cities.
Denton Lake Cities. That's right. I just remember you're the 6:45 a.m. crew or something, right?
Yeah. Well, we've moved to 7, so
Sleep
it in.
We're changing, right? So yeah, things are good. Thanks for having me this morning.
Absolutely. And you're the president-elect, correct?
That is right. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you. And Dr. Belding, he's no guest either, really. But we'll introduce him in a minute. Carlos, do we have any visitors in the room?
We do.
Yes, we've got Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Gayhart. I'm the Executive Director of Blue Sky Therapeutic Riding and Respite in Krugerville.
Awesome. Awesome. Amy, did you want to, I know you had a little something you wanted to share with us real quick.
Yeah, we have our big gala coming up. It's going to be a virtual gala this year, of course. And we are super excited about it. We're doing mini galas from people's homes. We have 40 homes signed up right now. So all over the state, all over the country, really. And it's going to be a virtual event, and we've got matching funds program that I'd love to get y'all more information on. If your business or your organization is interested in matching funds, I'm the person to talk to.
They usually have awesome items.
And
like,
it's still going to be great. It's still
I had a friend that had Whataburger for a year.
Whataburger for a year.
Oh my
Yep.
God. Kids would love that. Exactly.
So we're excited about it. We're of course, you know, everybody's been hit by COVID hard, but small nonprofits really have taken a hit. So support your small nonprofits.
Absolutely. And nothing wrong with Whataburger for a year. I understand that.
No.
Well, I know you sent us, emailed me some information. I'm happy to share that with the club, make sure everybody gets that. And thank you so much. And John Pitts referred her, guys. So you know how John Pitts is. He's so well connected. So yes, thank you so much for coming. And yes, more information on that, right? As we get closer to the date.
Yes, October 17th.
Awesome. Okay, good deal. All right. Okay, so Ashley is going to give our Rotary Minute today.
Yes, okay, so this is going to sound bad, but I did not know that we had a monthly magazine that Rotary International publishes out. And it's been called the Rotarian for 110 years. And after 110 years, they decided to change the name to Rotary. So you can still get it in print, you can get it online. It's filled with awesome information. The reason behind their name change was they wanted to better reflect the diversity and the breadth of the membership. And so they shifted from the Rotarian to Rotary. So I think, there's a picture of I think the next cover on it, but they are going to have more numbers and statistics, lists, and infographics. So if you like to have that kind of data piece, they're going to incorporate more into that. And it'll still, from a design standpoint, blend some of that old and new. So they'll kind of show that transition within the magazine. So I'll post a link to where you can sign up for the digital copy of it or a printed copy of it. So
wonderful. And I think every one of us as members should be receiving a digital copy of that. It comes along with your membership.
Spam folders if you're not.
Do I?
Spam folders.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I was saying check your spam folders.
That's right. Please check your spam folders. That's absolutely correct. Awesome. Thank you for that. Very good, Ash. And you know, guys, be ready, because really we want every one of our members to give us a Rotary Minute. And Ashley was brave enough to kickstart it, and we are just so proud of her. You did an awesome job. Air claps, air claps. Yes, air claps. We used to call them princess claps, but I don't think that's politically correct. So. All right. All right. This is the happy time. This is the time where we spread the happiness. All right. You guys know the drill. If you want to share your happy thought for the week, go ahead and drop a donation into PayPal at 380rotary@gmail.com. Our goal is that we get at least $20 per meeting. So really give generously and make those donations. Anybody want to start us out? Any takers? Anything happy this week? Do we all have a rough week?
I think the matters.
Our speaker has changed.
Oh, you got headphones?
Nothing? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it. Maybe you guys are coming up with your happy thoughts in a minute, and you could go ahead and share that. I am so happy at and I'm not to give too much away, but just totally thrilled and psyched that we're doing so well on our fundraiser, and just the overall support from so many people is just so generous, and just so grateful for that. You guys are just incredible. And a lot of it's coming from our own members. And so the fact that you just believe in supporting first responders is super cool. And Gina has just been so fantastic, along with Carlos and Denise, just delivering all these yummy treats. So thank you so much. So that's just been filling my heart all week long. So thank you. All right, anybody else as we're getting ready for Labor Day weekend? Not yet? Maybe something? I think I got
I'm personally excited about how my vegetables are going. I realize that's a lot smaller thing. We're eating a lot of it.
That's right. We've turned into farmers over here in McKinney. So, all right. Okay. Well, guys, if you are thinking of a happy thought moment, something that you would like to share, feel free to do that. Like I said, drop that in there at PayPal. So Hugh was just asking, how do you donate online? Just do it through PayPal at 380rotary@gmail.com. And the link is right here, and we will happily take it. But you can always share your happy thought right now and pay later.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal. All right. Okay. Moving along. All right. So I was talking about the fundraiser, right? It is really kicking without having to arse. It's kicking arse. This is just such a great fundraiser. We are so excited. We have already netted almost $1,700 for the club. So we are so excited. Proceeds to this goes directly to the first responder program, and also to help and support our local nonprofits in the area. So we are just super excited, considering we just launched this July 10th, I think it was. So we're just moving along, getting a lot of traction from it. We're really happy that we're getting a lot of support. If you know of anyone that would like to have this branding on these boxes and distributed, please let us know. If you think that there's anyone out there that you think would, a company or business or even a family that may want to just pull together and just say, you know what, on behalf of our family, we want to be able to show our healthcare workers or our teachers or our police officers or firefighters some support. Everybody right now can definitely use it, especially during this really crazy time that we're in. So keep up the good work. Like and share when you see these posts, when Ashley's putting them out. Like and share. Spread the good news. Spread the word. This is a great feel-good support fundraiser that really has endless ripple effect. So really get behind it and champion it. All right. Nice to see your head there, Jeff. Nice little haircut looks like Jeff got as I get a close up to the camera. All right.
You only have one USB port.
Oh, looks like their speaker is going in
Anybody
and
have a
out.
block
Okay.
for?
All right. So
Okay, well, that'll work. Should work anyway.
yeah, looks like they're trying to fix the speaker over there.
Yeah, it should work.
Carlos, can you hear us? Sorry, we're having some problems. All right, well,
that what
I'll
we
go
need?
ahead and take care of this. And all right, so guys, as you remember, a couple weeks ago, Carlos put out a video saying that they are collecting backpacks for schools. And not just Carlos, but Denise with Farmers Insurance and Jennifer with Point Bank. And so, well, actually Jennifer through her realty, and Point Bank is the drop off. And they have just done an outstanding job on that. And Carlos, if you can hear me, okay, why don't you go ahead and say more about the progress of this?
Well, Jennifer with Point Bank, she's one of the drop-offs. And she's been putting it out there that Point Bank was one of the drop-off locations. And then here at the Kiesling Farmers Insurance place, this has been one of the drop-offs as well. And so far we've collected 42.
I just added
43, thank you,
40.
Amy.
You got it 1, 34. Oh, nice. So 40 plus, and I can't add this early in the morning. So just under 50 backpacks, and the deadline is September 8th. We'll put the post out. If everybody can share it and help us, get as many as we can before September 8th, we'll be delivering those to the Aubrey schools.
That's awesome. That is so great. What was that total count again? I missed that.
Just below 50.
Just below 50. That's wonderful. Oh, and then I know you also got some generous donations, and so from Dwayne, and so I think that's super cool that just so many people are supporting that. And I think Carrie Abrams at Fuller Elementary already said that they've been putting these backpacks to good use. I think that's what she had mentioned. So that is so awesome. This is just like, and for anybody that's visiting or just new, or like, what do we have a new program I didn't know about? This is the brainchild of Carlos, Denise, and Jennifer as entrepreneurs wanting to give back to the community and just wanting to really just champion the community to respond and to help these students out. And so we are in Rotary just in full support of your ideas. And if you have ideas like this where, I think you guys all know that Chris Cagle at Fight Right Martial Arts is a big proponent of women's self-defense. So if there's ideas or things that you have for the community, let us know and we will help market it for you and we will help outreach it for you. But this is just such a great deal. So just like what he said, September 8th is the deadline, and I just can't be more proud of you guys. You guys are literally being the change that we want to see. You're just doing it on your own, and it's so cool. So thank you. All right, and Jeff, I know you said that you wanted to have a couple bullets.
I do.
Right.
So there is, we're gonna do a political connection. So from the time of Eisenhower to Trump, how many presidents have we had? Anybody know? It's more than 5.
Less than 50.
Less than 50, more than 5. Anybody? Yes.
12.
Wow, very good guess. 12. So from Eisenhower to Trump, we've had 12 presidents. During that time, we've had economic growth from a GDP perspective, but only 2 presidents have had a negative market annualization with positive economic growth. So does anybody know what 2 presidents in that time period from Eisenhower to now? We've had negative market annualized growth, but economic growth was positive.
Eisenhower.
No. Good guess.
I know,
Huh?
I know.
Reagan, no, good guess.
What about George W. was one of them?
That's right, George W. Bush, that's right. Who was the other one, who'd you say?
I can't come up with the second one.
Nope, not Trump. I'll
Okay.
give you a hint. It was another Republican.
George H.W.
No. You're guessing. We're close.
Can you give us the first name?
Go down.
Carter. Carter.
Closer. Richard.
Nixon.
There we go. So we've only had two. So that's pretty interesting. And a lot of people think that, you know, a party matters as to how the market will go. We've actually had two, and it's coincidental. But of the other 12 candidates or other 12 presidential elected officials, 5 of those were Republican, 5 were Democrat. All of them had positive market growth, annualized market growth during their term, and positive economic growth. So those are the only 2 that, and I mean, it fits, right? So Nixon was impeached. He was also right after the oil embargo, and then Bush had, 9/11 and the huge amount of war and debt that we had to incur for that. So they're interesting factors, but I just wanted to, I thought that was an interesting statistic, and I wanted to share that. And then to piggyback on that, I'm doing a webinar on the market in the election that's coming up. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I'll let you know. Actually, you just email me. I'll send you the link. It's on September 10th. So.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Thank you for that. I mean, we had like our own little trivia for just a second there, you know?
You did good. Carlos, you did great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, thank you for that. And we love to hear those, statistics, especially, this is an election year. And so it's really good to hear how the market is going and investments. And for you guys that may not know, Jeff is our amazing, wonderful financial analyst. He's an investor. He's at Edward Jones, and he's also our vocational chair. And we are just so proud to have him. And thank you for that. But yes, we would love to hear about this webinar. So get that over to Ashley, and that way we can all know more about it. Okay. So really quick, speaking of Ashley, she put out a really good post on our public page a couple of weeks ago. Guys, just don't forget that when I think we put literally every person's business tag in that post. And so go into their business and actually like their page and review it. I have to tell you, Amy Yarbrough gave our last presentation, and it was so awesome. I had so many aha moments. I literally took down like all her notes and did them. And so it was so cool. I went ahead and I don't know if many of you know, but I went on your Facebook pages for your businesses, and I wrote reviews, and I liked your pages. And I loved how Amy was saying, like, be prepared for 10 no's, just keep throwing it out there. And I took her advice, so with our fundraiser, just still keep casting those nets. And, these are just such great marketing principles that everybody can do. And I can't imagine if everyone in our club actually went to our pages and liked or reviewed everyone. So just such a great support idea for vocation. And so just keep up the good work. Go to that post on our public page, and just make sure that you're going into their businesses like MGM Lawn or EXP Realty, and just go in there and hit a review and like it. Yeah. I love that. All right. Thank you. Okay, so for the moment that we've all been waiting for, this guy needs no introduction. I mean, come on. He's a Rotarian. He's a community leader. He's a friend. He's a beagle lover. Did you know that? He loves beagles. And he just so happens to be the superintendent for Aubrey ISD. We give you the one and only David Belding, Dr. David Belding. Air clap, air clap, air clap. All right, I think you're on mute. Oh, you're there. Good.
No, yeah. Well, I appreciate that introduction. I hope I can live up to it. That's for sure. But thanks for giving me a chance to visit with you guys this morning. And it's an interesting time for the whole country, our state, communities, but especially for our school districts right now. There's a lot of interest in how we're going about, conducting school and bringing kids on campus or doing the distance learning options and things of this nature. So I've got some information to share with y'all and just kind of, how we're doing with that. And then also a quick construction update, because we've finished several projects, or as I tell Miss Abrams there, the principal at Fuller, I tell her, we're going to put a bow on this building here pretty quick, so they're just doing the fine tuning kinds of things now there, but I've got some pictures for y'all to see and things of this nature. But let me share my screen real fast. And I've done this one other time with a PowerPoint and it works. So I've got my fingers crossed. There we go. All right. Well, first, I think all of you know one of my bosses, and he's sitting there in the audience with the hat on, Carlos. So he is on the school board at Aubrey, and he is doing a fantastic job. And I think he's finished his second year on the board, which is really amazing because it has flown by. I mean, he said, hey, they're going to build stuff. Let me jump on there. And he had probably no idea all the things, how busy it was going to be, all the meetings we do and the training. But he has made a huge difference. And I feel very blessed to get to work with Carlos and got to know him even better. And he is truly making a big difference on the board. So thank you, Carlos, for that, for your service there. And then we got two other staff members from Aubrey that I've seen at least here, and that's Carrie Abrams, our principal at Fuller. And I remember she talked to me. She goes, you told me it was really neat to open a new school. And I said, it is. And so she said, I want to apply for it. And I said, all right. And so we went through the process and she was selected. I think about June 20th, you're like, what have I done? Because it was busy. I mean, when you order millions of dollars of furniture, not millions, I guess it was hundreds of thousands of dollars of furniture and for a building, and somebody's got to check it in and make sure it all gets put together right. That usually falls on that principal. And then technology equipment and just, trying to get the air conditioners balanced and all that with a new school and just everything going on, plus staffing it. And then you throw a pandemic in the middle of it. It just made it really fun. Right, Carrie?
Absolutely. But I'm over that hump. It's all worth it now.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think she was getting about 3 hours of sleep a night there for a little while. But and then we've got Chief Collins. I think he's on the line as well, and appreciate him. Chief, how many years have you been in Aubrey now? Like 6 or 7?
I just started my 6th year.
Okay. So he predates me by a year or two. And so appreciate Chief. And we just went through a safety security audit and we did very, very well. And a lot of that's because of his work. So appreciate him. All right. Well, let's just jump in to this. And, we started school on August the 17th. And we actually moved our start date up a couple of days. We originally were scheduled for the 19th, but we really wanted to build in a lot of flexibility in our calendar. And I'll touch on that a little bit more later in the presentation. But we have, we're in our 3rd week of school, and it's a combination of both on campus and distance learning. And right now, today, we've got about 60% of our students that are on campus and 40% that are distance. And we offered a 3-week option. We kind of have a policy of if you choose distance, we need to stick to that for a grading period, which would be 9 weeks for us. But to start school and to heed the recommendation of our Denton County Public Health, we implemented a 3-week distance option that would get us to next Tuesday. And so we've got over 300 kids that are coming back to campus on the 8th. And we appreciated those families helping us phase in our opening. By doing that, they really helped us lower the percentages of kids on campus, which then helped, Miss Abrams, our other principals, our teachers, Chief Collins and his staff, everybody, the opportunity to get the logistics down that we have in place with a little smaller number of kids on campus. So we appreciate the support of our community. Our enrollment has grown this year. We have broken the 2,600 mark. We are, as of yesterday, at 2,629 students. Last year, we're up about between 2 and 3% over this same time last year. And we think that's just going to continue to pick up. Fuller Elementary, as of yesterday, has 293 students, pre-K through 5. And they opened on the first day with about 270. So you can see we've enrolled kids almost every day out there since we got going. And one of the biggest things that's been on the news recently are UIL activities. And we started, the UIL broke apart the 5A, 6A schools with the 1A through 4As as far as the calendar for fall sports and band. And we started our fall sports August the 3rd. We started on time. And that was, we were a little nervous about it, but I will tell you, our kids and coaches have done a fantastic job of following all the protocols and everything. The band actually can't start their contest show drill until next week. And so like last week, whenever they played, I was a little worried that, people were like, well, why are they just standing still? Well, they can't start their drill until later. So they get to start on that next week. All right. So the overview of the plans I want to share with you guys. First off, this is a significant implementation. This is something, we ended the year with everybody pretty much distance. And so doing this, really running 2 educational systems parallel to each other out of the same district is huge. If you see a teacher or really any person that works in the schools, I'm talking about cafeteria workers, custodians, principals, those poor principals, they're definitely carrying a lot of water right now, but everybody is doing a job and a half at a minimum. And so if you could just pat them on the back, because we know right now that it's not perfect and we're continuing to work on it to improve the experience. And make sure that we're delivering a world-class education, no matter what the platform or the format is. And so it's a ton of not only just work, but different work. We all acknowledge that face-to-face learning is really the best mode for the vast majority of folks. And so how do we replicate that for kids that are at home? And we fully support families in that choice to go to distance, 100% behind them. And so, it's the work of how do we deliver great content to kids that are in a distance format, as well as, and at the same time, kids that are face-to-face. The picture I have there is of a kindergarten teacher at Fuller that is the online kindergarten teacher for 2 campuses. And for that first 3 weeks. And we bought the technology to support that. You can see the interactive TV display board there that she's working off of. You can see on the right hand, she's got that Zoom, little strip of people there that she's interacting with. And so, she's delivering that. If you can imagine, it's a little tough to keep kindergartners rolling just when you're in person, much less when they're sitting in front of a screen and they're like, well, I usually play Candy Crush on this. Why am I talking to a person, and stuff. So, but, they have done a fantastic job. Our staff has. And then I just want to brag on the Denton County superintendents and really the Denton County staff, public health, our Judge Andy Eads, commissioners. The interaction and collaboration and support has been fantastic through this whole process. And our municipalities, I've met a couple of different times with our city officials to bring them in the loop on what our plans were, what we were working on. And every time we had one of those calls, all of them said, what can we do to help you? What support do you need? So like traffic that very first week was huge. So the police departments that are within our district boundaries rallied, the constables rallied to help. But the interaction and support has been great. And I just want to give Brian with Providence Village a shout out because all cities and counties receive CARES Act funding and they have a lot of discretion over what to do. And Brian, called me and said, hey, do you guys need any help with anything that this funding might be used for? And so they have given us enough, we're working on it to be able to purchase more student devices, more Chromebooks and iPads to get us closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. So that is huge. And I want to publicly say thank you to Brian and Providence Village for supporting us in that manner. You guys, it means a great deal. And if we ever have to go full distance with the district, it will make sure that kids have a device and Wi-Fi hotspots and things for us to continue their learning. So thank you. All right, so as we developed our plan, I'm not going to read this whole slide to you. I'll let you kind of look at it. But, these are the main goals of our plan. I mean, first off, with our strategic plan that we developed, we always vet decisions through our mission statement and through our vision statement and our set of core values. Every decision we make, we filter through those statements and because that is kind of like our true north. And we want to always stay connected there and stay in line with those things. And then the additional focus that we have was obviously safety's got to be number one. And it's not only our physical health, but our emotional health. It is huge during this time frame. A lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure that people are feeling. Flexibility, and that's where we get into, we move the calendar up a couple of days because then that built in just short of 10 school days of flexibility. If we have to, let's say we need to close a campus for a couple of days because we've had multiple cases break out, then we won't necessarily have to make that time up because we've got those days built in. We've got makeup days built in that are just COVID days that if we don't need them, then we'll have those off. But the other part of it is I just really didn't want us to go into June and be going to school in the middle of June if we could help it. And so appreciate the board supporting that. And then obviously rigorous and effective instruction. That's always at our core mission and making sure that no matter the format, kids are taken care of. And then protecting the school experience and building relationships with students, whether they're face-to-face or distance. That's important to us because I will tell you too, I mean, on the initial 3 weeks, there have been a lot of smiling faces under those face coverings. The kids are happy to be back. The teachers are happy. And then the connecting with the kids that are at home, there are a lot of smiling faces on those screens too, where they get to interact with each other and see their teachers. So our plan is on our website. It's communicated. It's broken out into general questions, our prevention and response guide, which is how we are reacting if we have a case or how we are going about trying to prevent. And so, I'll get that in a second. And then our instructional plan is there, our UIL and athletics plan, which was just updated this week with additional guidance from UIL. Then we have an FAQ. And this number 6 is actually a link out there. And I was going to click on it, but I've never done that on Zoom, so I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to do that. But you can go to the website and take a look. All right. And one thing I will tell you, like this slide here, we talk about the governor's executive order here, but everything we're doing is in a constant state of change. We get additional guidance. We have a superintendent call with the Commissioner of Education every Thursday at 3 o'clock. And we get new guidance, updated guidance just about every week that we then need to go in and change some of our protocols. If the governor's executive order changes, then that's going to significantly change what we're doing. UIL just sent out new guidance earlier this week, like Monday or Tuesday, and kind of honestly got on to some districts for that initial round of games and not following guidelines. And so, that means we've changed in there. So that document on our website with all of our plans, we've created in a Google Doc format so we can go in there and make changes, and we put date that it was updated. But just know that we are constantly getting new information. Our Denton County Public Health guys are fantastic, but we're getting new information from multiple sources that are changing our practice all the time. So if you come up and you go, well, y'all did it this way last week. Well, yeah, it's different this week because we got new guidance, and so we're having to carry that. We have face coverings that we're using. This is a mask, and I'm trying to make sure my virtual background doesn't cover it up, but we issued these to every student. I'm going to turn my virtual background off because, I don't know if I can. But you kind of got to see that. It's a real fashion statement.
You can see it good.
All right. And then here's our gator. Well, you can't see that hardly. There you go. And the gator is another option because we really wanted to provide options to people to be able to comply with the governor's order. And so we purchased a mask and a gator for every student, and we've issued those, and 2 masks and a gator plus a face shield for every teacher. And that way they've got multiple options to be able to keep everybody safe. And then we develop protocols for if we have a positive case of COVID-19, if we have symptoms, what that looks like. We've discovered some places to get tested where you get results fairly quickly, and now we're not paying for those, but we're definitely giving, staff members or families, those resources. We do health screenings with staff every day. Matter of fact, at the beginning of the meeting, if you saw me on my phone, I'd forgotten to do mine before I got here. So I was doing it and checking off that I'm not showing any symptoms and I'm not running a temperature and things of this nature. We've worked really hard to try to communicate with stakeholders in multiple formats. I've done some presentations. We also have done Facebook Lives leading up to the start of school, just because sometimes, to get it explained to you, it makes more sense. So, we've really tried to communicate out. And then, once we get to a vaccine, I think that's what we're trying to get to, then maybe life can go back to a more normal procedure. So, that's what we're hoping. All right, so let's logistic protocols. And the picture I have there is a hallway at the middle school. And visual reminders are really important. And this summer, at the ad building, when we opened back up at the ad building, we had little stars with blue tape put at every doorway of an office. And that is an indicator of stop. You should have your face covering on, and then you should need to be invited into somebody's office instead of just walking in and then, you're breaking that 6 feet distance thing. And so we have a lot of those. And so this is a visual reminder in the hallway at the middle school to basically, we're teaching them how to drive. You walk on the right-hand side and, you don't go you don't pass them on a 2-lane road kind of thing. And so we kind of made little lanes and arrows. And it's not that, kids have to walk in a line like marching. They can walk, 2 together or side by side. But we're not NASCAR racing 4 across, right? And that way we can have that good traffic pattern and reduce exposure the very best we can. The high school and middle school are also doing staggered pass periods. And it's not like, okay, this is a 5-minute pass period for this group and next one. It's more of a minute delay, stagger where we're not flooding all the kids in the hallway all at one time. So that's worked pretty well. We've worked on student drop-off and pickup procedures, our lunches. We've spread those out, and we purchased little desk divider shields, for every student as well. And then they use those in the cafeteria just to give them a little bit of space. And, like that's their own. And I will tell you, I was in a kindergarten lunch and they were doing fantastic with it. I mean, they, actually it's worked well for them. They're eating their own food and things of this nature. Okay. So that's all good. We are having recess and it's a little different, but we're having recess. It's very class specific at the elementary level. Our electives are moving forward. We talked about that a little bit with the UIL activities. We've had our first football game. We had a JV game last night, and middle school games start next week. We've had volleyball since the second, probably about August 7th or 8th. We've had volleyball games. And I will tell you, I have to brag on the volleyball girls. I've got a picture of them in a minute because they were the first group to really compete and play. And I remember talking to my staff and saying, honestly, volleyball is going to set the tone on how this is going to go because they're going to be the lead. They're going to be the example. And those girls and that staff, I am so proud of them because even when we've been other places and those other places aren't really doing what they're supposed to do, we are. And I couldn't be prouder of them and the leadership that they have shown. And you'll see a picture of them in a minute. And they're just fun to watch, too. We have a good team. They're young, but they're a good team, and they're playing well. We have hand sanitizer all through the buildings. We put in dispensers for hand sanitizer in hallways, outside of classrooms. I mean, I don't know if you can walk down the hall and not, if you don't sanitize your hand, that's on you because you have all kinds of opportunities to do that. So everything we can do to make people safe. And then, we planned for 3 contingencies. Face-to-face instruction, which you can see the picture there, is something we do in kinder or first grade every single year. And that's a picture from this year. And so that lets you know that the instruction that's going on face-to-face has not changed to such a degree that there's not a good school experience. There's great instruction going on. There's great literacy instruction going on at the elementary level. There's great instruction going on at the high school. So all that's working. Is it a little different? Sure. Absolutely it is. And it needs to be right now. But it's still great things going on. And then we have an asynchronous plan. which means that we're not like live streaming and having like a teacher teach a class of kids live. It's more of a self-paced program with support from the teacher and planning from the teacher. And that way, you know, if we've got kids that are distant and their parents are working, the parents can come in at night and the kids with their parents can do quite a bit of their schoolwork if that family chooses that format. And that was something we heard that people really wanted and needed, that flexibility. So that's one, you know, that was our second plan, part of the three contingencies. And then the third one is what happens if we have to close for a week? Because there's been, you know, the health department says, hey, Denton County is really experiencing a big spike. We need everybody out, you know, for a week to try to hit the pause button. You know, how do we flip to a distance learning format? So we've got contingency plans for all of that. And I will tell you, what we're asking our teachers and staff to do is nothing short of Herculean. And the partnerships that we have with you, with our cities, with our parents, and businesses have never been more important, because our kids need us all to work together, whether we 100% agree with everything or not, but for us all to work together to take care of them is so important right now, and we appreciate your support. So our instructional plan, we did a lot of training this summer, and I took a distance selfie with the cheerleaders at the varsity game. And so you can see they all have their face coverings on, and, you know, they cheered, they did a great job. And, you know, anytime they were actively cheering, they pull that gaiter down and then they put it up there when they were standing there like that. So, but the board approved over $500,000 in expenditures for technology investments, which the display boards and webcams and things were a big part of that. And then obviously Providence Village helping us is a huge part of it too. Our learning management system platform, and then staffing. All of that was part of our instructional plan. You know, and we're in the middle of what I call a plan, do, study, act. That's a Baldrige term. You know, we planned, now we're doing it, and then we're studying it, and then we're going to make changes off of that. You know, we're not just going to implement something and go, well, this is the way it is, and that's it. We're continuing to get feedback. Yesterday, Terry McNabb, our deputy superintendent, called just random parents just to kind of take temperatures and that are distance and say, okay, what's the end user experience on this? You know, how are things going for you? Where are the glitches? You know, what's going well? What can we celebrate? What do we need to improve? And so we're working on that. And then we're doing the same thing with our teachers, you know, getting feedback from them, and the principals are being great advocates there as well. So we also, on the social emotional learning side, you know, we've got a student assistance counselor, a district lead counselor that's really going to act as much like a social worker as anything. So if we have a family in crisis, she's going to rally with resources there to them and help lead our school counselors in the implementation of that. And then we've also got tiered support on that SEL side. And we have actually a program now that's kind of a check-in for kids and even staff to let us know how they're feeling. And that way, if somebody is struggling significantly, you know, we kind of find out in a way that's you know, easy for them to let us know. So, you know, all of that is there so we can rally people. And then the UL guidelines, and here's our volleyball kids, and you can see, you know, they're huddled up with the coach at the bottom left down there. They've got their face coverings on because they're really close together. And so that protects them. You can see on the bench, they have their face covering on. And then the one on the top right is, I think we had a really big spike, might even hit the other player with the ball maybe, and they're really excited about that. So, but when they're on the court, their gaiters down, you know, and all of that. But when they're on the bench or as a team over there in a huddle, the gaiter comes up. And like I said, our kids have set the standard on that. And I am so proud of the young ladies for their leadership on it. So I kind of went through that. I know I just have a couple minutes left, and let me go through the construction update, then I'll open up for any questions. All right. So if you don't know, we've been building stuff. If you go through the Aubrey Independent School District, you see a lot of houses going up, especially out at Silverado, Aubrey Creek Estates. Providence Village has 2 additional, I think, lots of a couple hundred lots in each of those expansions, you know, which is great. Krugerville has the Woodlands is continuing to grow. So we have, and then Aspen Meadow, which is right across from Silverado, is going in. They're selling. So we have a lot of housing going one in, which is very exciting. So we opened Jackie Fuller Elementary. Here's the outside of it. And, you know, I guess we just wanted to make sure everybody knew it was Aubrey ISD. So we have big letters, right? And things. So, but Jackie Fuller, if you don't know her, you need to meet her. She is very much alive. And she is a fantastic person, full of history. And she was, I think, an English teacher, maybe a history teacher in Aubrey Independent School District. And she made a difference for a lot of people. And she will school you to this day. So love her very much. Excited when we get to the ribbon cutting for her to be a big part of that. Here's the library in the school. And the picture on the left is looking from the west wall back east. And so you can see how that library is configured. It's kind of got an industrial look, but it is a beautiful library. On the right is standing east, looking west, and a lot of windows, a lot of natural light in there, and super excited about it. On the left is one of the silos that's patterned after the peanut dryer there in Aubrey proper. You know, that was kind of an inspiration to try to connect back to the heritage of the area, to connect this school and this neighborhood back to the heritage. And so that's a neat space. And there's lots of flexible areas for reading, you know, lots of different environments for reading, lots of different environments for neat instructional activities throughout the building. We wanted to make it where this building could really transform over the years and support modern learning all the way through. On the right is a reading nook area inside the library. Again, just another spot for kids to read. Literacy is so vital, especially at the elementary age. And in the building, we wanted to design it to support literacy instruction throughout. The picture of this one on the left is of the maker space. And this is an area for kids to do STEM activities, build things, you know, it's a messy thing, right? When you build stuff. So we wanted a space for that. It's got a concrete floor to it. And it's got a lot of robotics in there right now and things of this nature. I know Miss Abrams and her team will really utilize that. And then on the right is just a picture of a corridor. You can see we went with an LVT tile that doesn't have to be waxed ever, so that lowered our maintenance costs. And but it gives you a feel for how the building's laid out and kind of that look. This is an older picture. This is one before school started, but on the left is a collaborative space. And every academic wing has collaborative spaces that are just dedicated for kids to be able to come out of the regular classroom in small groups and to be able to do projects together, to be able to interact with one another. And honestly, with us trying to distance more, this has been a useful space already to do some of those kinds of things, but spread kids out. The 3rd through 5th grade wing has 3 of these spaces with mobile wall systems. So you can configure it right on those walls and you'll have different configurations with that. The one on the right is of the cafeteria and the stage. And I think that laminate wood around the stage area just turned out really, really pretty. It's a very classic look. And that's what we talked about. We really wanted a classic building that in 30 years, it would still look, you know, new and modern and things of this nature. It wouldn't be kind of like, well, okay, you can tell this was built in the 2000 teens, you know, because of a particular design feature. So, and then on the left is that's in the 1st and 2nd collaborative space areas. So you can see that red carpet, blue carpet, and this one shows you the portable wall system there. And then on the right is a typical classroom. And so you can see what a typical classroom looks like. Again, there's only 2 rooms in the whole building that don't have windows. And so we felt bad about that, but there wasn't any way around it. And then you can see in the back there is the reading nook, and that's a built-in area. Again, it's got a cushion and another spot for kids to read in natural light. Then on the left is part of the playground. And, you know, I wish I had an updated photo because it looks a lot prettier than that now because we've got grass and all that good stuff. But it looks really, really good. And that's a basketball court with the playground. And then on the right is the back. I think that's the 1st and 2nd grade wing, maybe. And so you can see that little porch area. And Miss Abrams they have picnic tables out there. And again, another spot for neat learning outside. And then here's an overhead shot of the footprint of the building. The capacity of the school right now is 735 students. We can add 10 classrooms on those 2 wings that are at the bottom of the screen. Pretty easily, 5 on each wing to get our capacity to 835 if we need it. So super excited. We tried to design it to be able to be expanded, to grow. All right, these pictures are of the middle school. And, we added a gym, a weight room, a practice field, and a practice track to the middle school. So this is that addition. You see the hallway there, and we're really excited about that graphic, and it's really, really pretty. And I told Miss Wright when we first opened this, I said, I want those trophy cases full. Well, it didn't take them long. They definitely put a lot of trophies in there because, we're a little competitive. And then here's the gym. And, the middle school, we used to have to send kids from the middle school to the high school or even over to the old junior high to practice. And now we can keep them all at the junior high. And that's a safety feature. And so this is that second gym, and super, super proud of it. And it has a regular wood competition floor. It's not a rubber composite floor, for instance. So that way we can have, games at the middle school instead of splitting them up and all of that. Here's the weight room and a picture of a locker room. So, this summer when we did strength and conditioning, that weight room really helped out because we could split even the high school kids up and the middle school kids, where we could keep everybody in a distance format, and it was a safety feature. So thank you to our community for supporting that. And then the ag facility is a game changer. We've got way more pens for projects for kids to have. And as we grow, the housing that's being built is not conducive to having a pig or a goat in your backyard. So if we want kids to be involved in ag, we need to supply space and facility for that. So super excited about it. And, that is a fantastic facility, and it's going to be put to great use. So that's the end of my presentation. And I think I barely made it.
I
so
know.
I'm sorry it took so long.
Right at the wire.
Let me
That is
stop sharing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Belding, so much. You did a fantastic job, and we are so proud of all the work that you, your team, your staff have been doing. It's just been incredible. So thank you. All right. So we
Appreciate
are at time. And with that, oh yeah. We'll pepper them some questions later. All right, guys.
Yeah,
so,
I'll hang around if that's okay. If people want to ask questions, I'll stay on for a little bit. So
Dr. Belding, as our wonderful speaker today, if you could lead us out in the 4-way test.
Absolutely. So, all right. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And it looks like a Rotary Club of 380 ad. 5, enjoy yourself, have some fun.
Bravo. Great job. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. If you had a question for Dr. Belding, we'll leave this feed on for a couple more minutes as we get ourselves situated. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. And Carlos, if you could do the honors. There we go. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, team.
So Dr. Belding, what's happening to snow days now?
Snow days?
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 built in. 2 bad weather days are still built in. I was kidding with somebody. I said, we've got these 10 days, right? And 2 of those are the bad weather days, and 2 of them I've designated as COVID makeup days. I said, watch, we'll have a week-long ice storm this year. That shuts us down and eats all those days up. But at least we've got them. The other part of it, we've got additional minutes that are built in because nowadays you don't have to go so many days. You have to go 75,600 minutes. So we've expanded the school day a little bit by 5 minutes to bank minutes. So to hedge. But yeah, we still have bad weather days. So if it snows or ices, I think the La Nina is in place. So that means we're supposed to be a little warmer and drier this winter. So we'll see. That probably means we'll have a blizzard.
Well, you guys have done an excellent job. I'm so proud of you guys. And thank you again for coming. We really, really appreciate you. You are always welcome, and don't be a stranger to the club. So
I appreciate that.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. We're going to sign off. And for those attending the board meeting, I'll see you on the other side. Bye.